Hey folks, it's Billy DKY, the truth seeker that simplifies and demystifies. This is going to be my philosophy on drugs. You know, I've had a couple videos on drugs, and I've never really put out my specific philosophy as more answering questions that people had for me on drugs. So I was like, well, hell, you know, I've never really put my philosophy out there, so let me just go ahead and put my philosophy out there. And again, those of you who know me, you know I hate the word philosophy. I just see it as reality, the best way to do it. So, but maybe that's what philosophy is. Hell, anyway. Okay. Got my notes again as always. Okay. You know, last 2 days was nothing more than answering a question, and then I had a revelation about myself, and then answered more stuff on drugs. So that's what the last 2 days were. So okay. Anyway, well, enough of that. Okay. Here's my philosophy on drugs. I'm not telling you what drugs you should or shouldn't be taking. My philosophy is real simple, and this is an extremely powerful philosophy that I came up with a long time ago. Less is more, but not none. You know, you see that in my food training, you see that in drugs, you see it in everything. I mean, less is more, but not none, and that's really principle 9, simplicity. So, I'm not telling you you're wrong by taking the drugs you're taking. I don't know you well enough. I don't know your specific circumstances. You may need drugs. You may need insulin. You may need cancer treatment. I don't know what you need. You know what I'm saying? But here's what I am saying. You should always be looking to lessen the amount of drugs that you are dependent upon. And you should use those principles of falling away of growth to, let's say you're taking a bunch of drugs. Let's say you're taking 10 drugs now. You should be looking to try to lessen that. And use the principles of the blog, such as baby steps, principle 5, question everything. Again, the blog's the first link in the information section of the video. Use those principles of falling away of growth to get out of it. And a lot of health problems and the reasons we need drugs is because we get out of harmony with the essence of life. So your first goal is really to get in harmony with the essence of life. And if you still need drugs once you're in harmony with the essence of life, then take them. I ain't saying this ain't the John Travolta, with his son. I don't know the specifics, and I don't know if I'm even right on this, but supposedly I think I heard the son died because they wouldn't give him the treatment. I'm not saying not get treatment. I'm not saying not go to the hospital. I'm not saying not go to the doctor. I'm saying be super smart about how you're living. That's all I'm really saying in this whole thing. I'm not like anti this 100%. I mean, I would probably say 99.97% that taking LSD is not the way to go, regardless, probably under any circumstance. However, I could be wrong. There may be a situation like in war. I think meth, was actually developed by the Japanese for wartime. There is sometimes that it may be necessary to get you hyped up for something that you're going to die anyway, so it don't matter. So that's always thought, like steroids and stuff like that. I wouldn't mind taking steroids when I'm like 90. If I'm going to die anyway, if I'm close to death, hell yeah, put me up some steroids. I ain't worried about that. I'm going to die anyway. That actually is a good idea. They should give old people steroids. That would be pretty interesting, really. I think I may actually do that when I get older. So anyway, and again, and let's talk about steroids a little bit. Really, steroids. Damn, I didn't track the time. Oh, anyway, basically, steroids. Yeah, steroids is it's focusing on, trying to focus on body instead of focusing on developing your mind and spirit. It overestimates. It's people overestimating the body and underestimating the spirit. So I'd stay away from steroids and stuff like that too. But again, it's your business. You do what you want to do. You have to live with the consequences. And if it starts involving my life, then I'll start trying to deal with you. Okay, here's another point. Drugs are evolving, natural or manufactured ones. I don't care. Everything's still evolving. Like I say, FWG is the next step in spirituality. And notice my little marketing thing there too, falling away of growth. Anyway, so it's all evolving. I don't necessarily make a distinction between natural and manufactured ones. I don't know if nature makes a natural insulin. But I would say if you got diabetes or something, you need to look for you want to get in harmony as much as possible so you can lessen how much manufactured insulin you have to take or whatever. So I don't know. You got to make the decision. I'm just putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? Okay, again, I'm not preaching no drugs. I'm preaching being really smart about it, which I've already sort of said. Again, focus on staying in harmony instead of, drugs. Drugs is not your focus. Focus on harmony. Get your life together, and you'll know clearly what drugs you need and which ones you don't. It's not really hard to figure out. Okay, I said that too. Yeah, again, I said that. Okay, and so here's some other stuff. Why are drugs illegal in the first place? And again, it always goes back to the principles of falling away of growth, which people doubt how powerful it is. They don't see the tremendous power that it has. Once you realize all of life is about growth, the reason it's illegal is because it's trying to get you to grow optimally. Life is trying to get you to grow optimally, and they're trying to prevent you from doing stuff that would keep you from going optimally, and that's why it's illegal. I mean, there's other reasons at times, manufacturers, they don't want competition, and there's other reasons, but the majority of times it's because the universe wants you to grow, and it ain't about you, and it ain't about, people say, well, I should be able to do whatever I want. Let me tell you how life really is. There is no place on a spiritual path for you to do whatever you want. Doing whatever you want is a recipe for disaster. It is a failure of principle 7. Know your enemies, ego and pleasure. That's nothing but an egotistical mindset. I know it sounds good, makes you feel, yeah, I should be able to do whatever I want, however I want. BS. You're in reality just like the rest of it, and what you do does affect me. Even sometimes it may be minuscule, sometimes it may be big, but you're in this with the rest of us, and your purpose in life is to grow. It's not for you to be self-centered, get whacked out on drugs, or be focused on yourself. It's about you growing optimally. So, the reason, again, don't underestimate the principles. Don't underestimate the understanding. That's probably a better way to say it. My understanding on drugs. That's a better name for this video. My understanding and my take on drugs. So, again, it ain't about what you want to do. It's about you getting in line with what the purpose that reality has for you, and that's the whole point behind FWG, is to help you get in harmony with the essence life, so you know what your purpose in life is, and that's the best possible life you can have. It's that simple. You start going after what you want to do, you're going to wind up having a piss poor life. That's all I really have to say. Again, I'm not telling you to not take drugs. I'm telling you less is more, but not none. And you should really apply that principle in everything you do. From sex, to drugs, to food, to everything. Clothes, possessions. Less is more, but not none. You'll find it's extremely powerful. And look at wild animals. They have so little, but they have so much true power. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, do with it what you will, because it's free. Later, folks.